Okay, this is WoW's Darkest Secret. Okay, so again, on Cox and Krendor, Jesse mentioned WoW's Darkest Secret, and I was like, I don't think I've seen that. And then he was like, I didn't either. We should react to it. So I'm going to react to it. Maybe Jesse can react to me reacting to it, eh? That could be a thing. He'll probably not do it. So I'm curious to what this is, because all the other thumbnails are people being like, all right. WoW's Darkest Secret. Reacting to Dark WoW Secret. Change the title of the thing. Uh-oh, creepy World of Warcraft. I feel like we're about to watch one of those ghost shows, like the Ghost Adventures. Today, we're in World of Warcraft, ready to yell
I'm going
at
to
the
start
ghosts.
this off by saying whatever the hell you do, do
Thanks.
not look in the comment section below. Though I
Alright.
don't usually get many, if any, comments on my productions, the ones that are there will no doubt spoil what is to come. So
Alright.
go into full screen mode and let me show you this, because I promise you, it's going to blow your mind. I believe I've made a WoW discovery that literally no one else has ever found. No matter how much I try to look it up, there's never any results. No DuckDuck searches, no YouTube videos, nothing. And that's pretty damn surprising, considering this is a game from 2004 that we're talking about here.
It is.
This is the vanilla WoW world map. As you can see, there's only two continents, Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor. Let me ask you a question. Out of all the zones in these two continents, which one is the most forgettable? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it.
Honestly, probably Eastern Kingdoms, because I quested more on the, you know,
Alright, time's up.
the.
I imagine that the
what's it
vast
called?
majority of people
Durotar.
probably answered with Desolace, Silithus,
Oh, we're talking
Alterac
about-
Mountains, Deadwind Pass, you know, the usual suspects. But there's one zone
Wait,
in
hold
Vanilla
on,
WoW
what-
that literally everyone...
Hold on, what zones did you just say?
Time's up. I imagine that the vast majority of people probably answered with
Hold on.
Desolace, Silithus, Alterac Mountains, Deadwind
I like
Pass,
Alterac Mountains.
you know, the usual suspects. But there's one zone in Vanilla WoW that literally
Kalimdor. Why did I not
everyone
think of
knows about,
Kalimdor? My
but is
brain was
almost
just like,
universally
Durotar?
forgotten.
Barons?
And that zone is Stone Talon Mountains. Stone
Stone
Talon
Talon
Mountains is a
Mountains.
contested zone that shares a border with the Barons and Desolace.
I haven't forgot about
The
Stone
fact
Talon.
that
I
it's a
quested there like
contested zone is
bunch of
quite
times.
interesting in of itself, as despite there being many low-level Horde quests available here,
Alright, I'm ruining
for
the video.
Alliance players, there's almost nothing at all. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that if you're an Alliance main like me, you've
No.
probably never even
Oh,
been
that's why.
here before.
Filthy
The zone
Alliance
itself
mates.
has an extremely unusual design, and there really is nothing else like it in the game. It's essentially one giant valley that connects to three different open
Video
chasms
cropped
that are
out on the
completely
side. Yeah,
different
that's
to
what you
one
get on
another.
this.
Due to the zone's odd
top-tier
layout and frustrating
stream.
quests, even many
YouTube
Horde
channel,
players
whatever.
tend to skip it entirely when leveling. But I'm not here to talk about the zone or even its quests, but something much, much weirder. We all know that WoW has a day-night cycle that is in sync with the server's time zone.
That's
If it's
true.
daytime in real life, then it will be daytime in game too. If it's nighttime in real life, then it will be nighttime in game too. A zone's atmosphere can change significantly depending on whether it's day or night, but
Right.
this is true especially for Stone Talon Mountains. During the day, Stone Talon Mountains just looks and feels like a pretty typical looking place. A bit of trees here, a bit of grass there, but at night, this zone, and the way it feels to be in it, almost completely changes.
What?
From the hours of midnight to 5
What the shit? Okay, hold on. First up, I gotta clap. Bradley, 37 months. Thank you, Bradley. What the? They have the 37 months, and Jason with the 5 months. Howdy doody, go fix us some breakfast. Which came first, IKEA chicken or the unassembled egg? Probably the IKEA chicken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sweet. They were the 5 months. So you're telling me that Stone Talon changes at night? All right.
a.m., music no longer plays
Alright.
in the zone. Instead, all you can hear is this strange wind ambience that sounds really freaky.
I don't know. It sounds like wind to me.
What's weirder is that
sounds
at
like
night,
wind.
the entire zone has this creepy red tint to it for seemingly no reason. And there's a ton of fog that limits how far you can see.
I always thought it
Not
was
sure
just
if you
like
can really notice
Stone
it here,
Talon's like
but
red
the difference when
or
it's
orange.
daytime is really, well, night and day.
I don't know.
Now, obviously, when I first discovered this, I was confused just as much as you probably are. Why is it like this? No other zone has effects like these at night. It just seems weird. And again, no matter how much I looked into it, no one had an answer. But that's not even why I'm making this, because,
Alright.
yeah, it's weird, but it could just be some sort of attempt at atmospheric immersion. No, I'm making this because of a strange phenomenon that kept happening to my character here.
Okay.
If you know me, then you'll know that I'm pretty much nocturnal, as in, seriously nocturnal. I'm always up at night and in the early hours of the morning because that's just how I like it. As a result, whenever I play WoW, it's always in the dark. That's how I noticed how weird Stone Talon Mountains was in the first place. In classic WoW, I had an orc warrior called Warzerg that I would occasionally level up to see what the Horde side of the game was like. Just a way to relax and see what I would have otherwise missed out on my Alliance main. Stone Talon Mountains was one of the zones I ended up leveling in. I remember being taken aback at what a weird, almost psychedelic dreamscape the zone felt like. It reminded me of somewhere where a nightmare would take place, but again, I didn't think anything of it until this happened. This is a screenshot I took at 2:14 AM on the 20th of October 2020. I'm in the Windshear Crag part of the zone, and as you can see, my character is dead. You're probably thinking that a mob must have got me or something, but no. The reason I took this screenshot is because my character just died, instantly, for no reason whatsoever. I was just running around doing some quest when he just dropped dead. At first I thought that maybe a high-level rogue had got me, then vanished or something, but I didn't see any. And according to my combat log, nothing happened. He just died. I kept this screenshot because I thought I would put it in a future production of mine, as at the time there was a lot of uproar about how badly Blizzard maintained classic WoW, with there being a ton of bots and gold sellers flying around. I figured it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for there to be bugs like this too, as
That's true.
After all, this is Blizzard we're talking about here.
That is
Either
true.
way, I rezzed up and carried on with my questing before heading off for the night. 24 hours later, and I am, once again, questing in the Windshear Crag. Everything was going smoothly, until once again, bam. It happened again. Instant death, no combat log, just dead.
Okay, but he's not showing the combat log, right? Like, he's not showing, like where's the combat log to say, a little skeptical right now. 25 months weapon, what the It's like, they were 25 months. Like, you would think, or like a video of this happening, like he's,
I have never experienced anything quite like this.
I would, if this was me,
yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. As somebody who streams and does YouTube, if this was me and this started happening, I'd be like, dude, I gotta record this. I would start recording instantly. To be like, I gotta see if I can record this. Be like, yo, everybody, look at this. I just died. If you like this video, comment, subscribe. Tell me if you think you can mimic this in in game, and send me your video replies. Share this video everywhere you want. Like, that's what I would have done.
But it's never been this
So I'm
bad.
already skeptical.
I looked back at the screenshot I took the night before and noticed something really unusual. The time of death on both shots was exactly the same, 2:14 AM. That was just way too much of a coincidence to ignore. I tried to make a post on r/classicwow to ask if anyone knew what kept happening to my character, but it got removed, and then I was banned for no reason.
Oh yeah, that's just Reddit.
So, yeah, pretty standard. I decided that this was way too much of a coincidence to ignore, so I conjured a plan. The next night, at 2:14 AM, I would have my recorder on, just in case my character died again, so that I would have proof of this weird bug in action. The following is what I captured.
Alright, here we go. Dude, I feel like we're out in the woods right now. Where's the dude about to get jump scared?
Nothing. I waited around for a few minutes longer, but it just wasn't happening. I figured that it really must have been just a weird coincidence. Feeling disappointed, I turned off my recorder and carried on questing. But then, boom. It happened
This
again.
is just like, it's just
This
like
time
Bigfoot.
at 2:47 a.m. 3 deaths in a row on 3 different days. But why was this one at a different time
It's just
than
like
the others?
Bigfoot.
The only difference I noticed between the last shot and the first two is that on the last one, I was at the Charred Vale part of the zone, whereas with the first two, I was in the Windshear Crag. So,
Classic mistake.
I had another idea. What if I went to the Windshear Crag at 2:14 a.m. and had my recorder on then instead? Maybe there it would happen again. So, once again, I set my
you just
character
leave it on
there
the whole time.
and waited.
You just leave it on the whole time, then you'll never get ganked. Or, you know, ghost ganked, essentially. Yeah, he's dancing.
Thanks.
Holy shit. I now had video evidence of this so-called bug.
Video
in action.
evidence?
But honestly, at this point, I was starting to think there has to be something more to this. Out of curiosity, I wondered that
Alright,
if I
that
went
got
to
me,
the
that
Charred
got me.
Vale at 2:47 again, if it would happen there too. Sure enough.
Hold on.
It did.
Hold on. Pause. This could be video editing.
Holy
I see it says
Holy
most
shit.
replayed.
I
Everyone's
now
like
had-
analyzing it. Okay.
At this point,
All right,
that if
keep
I
going,
went
keep
to
going.
the Charred Vale at 2:47
New Good Time 23 months. I
again,
love getting ghost
if it would
ganked.
happen there too.
That's enough.
Sure enough, it did.
3. Sweet. They were 23 months.
– 2:14 a.m. in the Windshear Crag and 2:47 a.m. in the Charred Vale. I didn't know what it was, but for some reason, at those times, my character would always just drop dead.
I mean, there's
It
got
was
to
as
be
if there was
something
an
that could do
invisible
that.
GM playing some sort of practical joke or something like that. But we're not done yet. At the very top of the zone lies the third chasm, the Stone Talon Peak. A very leafy and soothing place compared to the other two. I wondered if the weird deaths occurred there too. Sure enough, they did. 2:28 a.m. I tested this again the next day, and it happened yet
Thanks.
again.
All right.
2:14 a.m. in the Windshear Crag.
Alright.
2:47 a.m. in the Charred Vale. 2:28.
Okay, buddy, calm down.
Thanks.
Here's the thing. I notice in all these video clips and all these things, he's like the only one around. Like, you would think
Thanks.
that, like, everybody in the zone, like, everybody in here, they always drop dead. Or, like, everybody over here, they always drop dead. You know what I mean? So now I'm like,
Thanks.
Anonymous with the 5 gifted subs, me lazy. Sweet Gidbin. Sweet
Thanks.
Bacon Fantasy. Sweet Caleb. Sweet and Nepal Sensei. Sweet all getting subs. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Oh, I gotta
Team
watch a bit
Stone
more before we clap again.
Every night, at those times, my character would die without failure or explanation. It would never happen in the valley part of the zone, only in the
Thanks.
chasms at those exact times. This wasn't a coincidence at this point. I tried to see if anyone else was in the zone at the same time as me, but literally no one ever was. Not too surprising, as this character is on Dragonfang, which is, yeah, a very dead server to say the least.
All right.
None of my friends still played.
I do like
so
how
I
every
couldn't
time I bring
exactly
up
ask them
something,
to
he,
get
like,
a subscription
talks
just to
about it
test
right
this. And whenever I would ask other people to come to Stone Talon Mountains so that I could watch them drop dead, they were surprisingly uncooperative. I decided to do some hardcore research to see if anyone else had noticed this, scrubbing almost the entire internet for even a nugget of information. But alas, nothing. Well, nothing, except that 2 years ago, back when Classic WoW launched, an old Blizzard developer who had long since left the company, Mike Crond, did a Q&A on the r/WoW subreddit,
Alright.
whereby he answered people's questions about what it was like developing the vanilla game. In his opening remarks, he mentioned that he was behind zones such as Desolus, Feralas, Ashenvale, and Stone Talon
Oh
Mountains.
my god.
Despite the Q&A being 2 years ago now, I noticed that Mike was very active on Reddit, albeit almost always posting about non-WoW related stuff. Now, I'm not usually one to pry, but man, if anyone knew what was going on here, it would be this guy.
It's gotta
And
be
I'm
Mike.
in way too deep to quit now. I just had to ask. So I did. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea how to open a conversation with a guy who I don't know.
You just share
and
a
who doesn't
cat
know
bag.
me. I'm not a journalist, I'm a WoW player.
Did you
By
know
nature,
that cats
I'm
like
very antisocial
temperatures
and
20
tend not to
degrees
talk to
higher
people
than
unless
what
they
we
talk
like
to me.
temperatures at?
But this guy wasn't just going to talk to me by himself,
Crazy.
so I decided to try to play it cool. Didn't want to come off as too pushy or anything like that. So I said, "Hey there, is it true you worked on Vanilla WoW back in the day?" Honestly, I didn't expect to get an answer, but shockingly enough, he responded almost instantly. Yup. Well, it's better than nothing, I guess.
Yup.
The ice was broken. I just had a question about one of the
Yup.
zones. Nothing serious, just some trivia that I wondered if you could answer. 2 minutes later, shoot. Talkative guy. I've been on Classic WoW recently and leveling up in Stone Talon Mountains. I've noticed that for some reason, my character dies at set times in the early hours of the morning for seemingly no reason. I know it sounds bonkers, but do you have any idea why that is? It's been driving me crazy for days now. After I asked this, the guy just went completely silent. I'll be honest, I was pretty pissed off. If anyone would know why, it would be this guy.
It's gotta be
And he
Mike
just
Cron.
bailed on me for no reason. I figured that all hope was lost and that I'd never know what was behind this. And with my limited audience, there was no way I could make a big enough deal out of it to try to get people to figure it out. So, case closed, I guess.
Well,
Oh.
that's pretty neat. I guess that's the video over. Fresh Wolfie, 21 months. What the Sick. David, 21 months. And Vapor Space with the 96 tier 3. 8 years. Poggy Woggy. Put some credit on Nerd Cypress. Wowies, Mommies, Pop Pop, Americano. Wee Wow Wowie Wowie. Wow Wow Wows in the chat for Vapor Space. 96 tier 3. What the passive? Not a lot of passive. Not what the passive. Not what the passive. Not what the passive. Not what the passive. That's what the passive. That's what the passive. Not what the passive. Not what the 96. David 96 have some tier 3 snaps. Thank you, Vapor Space. Closing in on the big hundo. And Peregrine with the 68. It's 1 a.m. I just got off work. Shame I forgot the joke I was going for. Well, you're almost to 69. What the passive? Not a lot of passive. Not what the passive. Not what the passive. Not what the passive. Not what the passive. That's what the passive. Sweet. Nice.
Or so, I thought.
Oh.
I am not joking with you. 10 months later.
Or
I get
0
another
months
message from
later.
Mike. The message literally just said, "The SoCal Lady Killer." I'm like, what? No response. Guy just goes completely quiet again. The
I
SoCal
think
Lady
Mike
Killer?
Cron's a
What
little
the heck
insane.
was that?
I'd stop talking to
I
him.
thought that perhaps he had meant to message someone else and this was sent to me by accident. Decided to look into it and this is what came up. The SoCal Lady
Stone
Killer
Talon
is the
Mountains.
nickname given to an unidentified serial killer who is believed to be behind the murder of 3 women in Southern California throughout the years of 1995 and 1996. Though there is no direct evidence that links the 3 murders together, the modus operandi of the killer was seemingly identical in all of the cases, with the victims' bodies being mutilated in an almost identical fashion each time. The 3 women, all of which were prostitutes, were believed to be lured to a secluded area by the killer, whereby they were then murdered. Again, I had no idea what this had to do with what I asked, until I read this part.
Alright.
The first victim was 28-year-old Whitney Fangson. On the 2nd of August 1995, her body was found on the outskirts of the
Stone
Windshield
Talon
Lumber
Mountains.
Mill.
Oh.
Police reports state that she was
That's close
officially
enough.
declared dead at 2:14 a.m. 4 months later, on the 5th of December 1995, 25-year-old Sophie Riven was found in an almost identical state
Dude,
in
Riven?
a hotel room
League
in
of
the
Legends?
nearby village of Los Chared.
Chared.
Police reports state that she was declared dead at 2:47 a.m.
Is it just
The third
charred?
and final victim
charred.
was 32-year-old Amy
It's charred. The British aluminium. The charred aluminium, eh?
Rasan, who
Sorry.
2 months later, on the 17th of February 1996, was found dead by climbers at the base of Sokol Peak.
Sockle Peak.
Police
Stone
reports state
Tail.
that
Okay,
she was
hold
declared-
on. That's a bit of a reach. That's a bit of a reach right there. Stone Talon Peak and Sockle Peak.
Police
whatever the
reports
shit.
state that she was declared dead at 2:28 a.m. Windshear Lumber Mill was the basis for Windshear Crag. Lost Charred was the basis for the Charred Vale. Sokol Peak was the basis for Stone Talon Peak.
Alright.
In addition, the timing of the victims' deaths correlate exactly with the timing of my characters.
Shit.
The mystery had been solved. The seemingly random deaths are an Easter egg referencing the SoCal Lady Killer. But that's a pretty weird Easter egg, don't
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah.
I went to ask Mike what on earth made him want to
Mike,
add
why
that
are
in the
you
game,
crazy?
but again, I got no response.
I just really wanted to
But this time,
death
it was different. You see, in the past when I was blanked, Mike was still actively using Reddit obsessively on a daily basis. But ever since
That's
that last
another
message,
issue.
he has stopped completely. Not many people know this, but the state of California actually has an
Do not
online
trust
public
a hardcore
database of
Redditor.
all its residents that states basic information about them, such as their criminal record, driving viability, and yes, whether they are dead or alive. Well, you're never gonna believe what I found. Michael John Crond, 54, death by suicide, on the
Oh my
13th
God.
of August 2021, the exact same day that he last messaged me.
Oh my
Ladies
god.
and gentlemen, Mike Crond, World of Warcraft developer from 2004 to 2006, was the SoCal Lady Killer. Stone Talon Mountains, a zone which he designed, is nothing more than a direct reference to the crimes he committed 10 years prior to joining Blizzard. It is an open mockery of his victims, hiding the truth in plain sight while taking great pleasure in how no one else can see it. Typical serial killer behavior. But if you aren't convinced yet, then let me show you this. Every single chasm has a rare mob that is a direct reference to one of the victims.
Alright.
Whitney Fangson died outside of the Windshear lumber mill. Meanwhile, in the Windshear Crag, there's an NPC called Taskmaster Whipfang. Sophie Riven died in Lost Charred. Meanwhile, in the Charred Vale, there's an NPC called Sister Riven. Amy Rasan died on the base of Sokol Peak. Meanwhile, in the Stone Talon Peak, there's an NPC called Sentinel Amma Rasan. The cherry on top.
Okay. Alright.
In the only safe place in the entire zone, the Sunrock Retreat, is an NPC called Crond. Crond, the Butcher.
This can't be real.
So the question you're probably asking yourself is, why? Why would he commit suicide? Well, the answer becomes crystal clear if we go back to the SoCal Lady Killer's wiki page.
Alright.
It reads, after being a cold case for over 25 years, on the 2nd of August 2021, LAPD Police Chief Ed Jens announced that the SoCal Lady Killer case had been reopened due to advances in forensic technology that may help finally bring the victims some justice.
Okay.
Mike Crond
Well, why did he-
knew that he was about to be found out. Thus, he ended his own life as to escape justice.
But why would he like take the time to message this
But
dude?
folks, do you want to know the worst part about all of this?
Oh god. Here it
The
comes.
worst part is, I just made all that up.
Alright, there it is.
That's right. Mike Crond is not a serial killer. In fact, Mike Crond isn't even real. Hell, his picture isn't even real. It was generated by an AI.
What?
There's no such thing as the SoCal Lady Killer, and my character didn't even die randomly in the Stone Talon Mountains. I just got a friend of mine to use the neutral auction house to trade me a dark rune. Hell, even the character isn't even the same. So, the question you must be asking is, why?
Yeah.
Why did I make up this entire story?
I mean, I'd say you made it up because it made for a fun YouTube video that got a lot of people thinking. And, I don't know. It was also just... It's also fun to do mysteries. It shows the power of editing and video manipulation.
Well, you see, it's simple. If I can come up with an interesting and somewhat believable story that grips people enough to keep them listening for 20 minutes, about the pissing Stone Talon Mountains no less, then Blizzard has no excuse to not write a good story of their own, especially with their ridiculously overpaid writing team at their disposal. Dear WoW lore team, get it together, you absolute amateurs.
Alright, he's got a point there. That's pretty true. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Big fan. Alright, yeah, you know what? That wasn't what I expected. I expected it not to be real, but I thought it wouldn't be for that reason. Alright, that was solid. That's a bravo. Against the golf clap.